All right, we're back.
Oh, we are back. Welcome to another episode of Talking Upstream, my favorite show that comes out on our own YouTube channel every single Sunday with our favorite people on it. If you don't know who we are some nobodies. My name is Zack, and this is Dylan over here. He's my right-hand man. Well, I guess he's also his own right hand. Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that. So what we do in this show is we find some of our favorite creators, some of our favorite actors, producers, writers, creators of fake food, and then we kind of just sit down with them and chat with them and find out why they do what they do and how they do what they do, and then we pitch them an idea, and hopefully they like our pitches and they either give us a job. Never, or we just work on something together and then continue the interview process. Now, Dylan, how are you today, my friend?
I'm doing all right. It's beautiful outside.
It is beautiful outside. A lot of times we talk about movies that we would make and different things and some shows that we always say, like, if we could make a show like this, or if we could make a thing like this, and then trying to do a whole bunch of different things, we always get stuck. But a lot of times it's like we have these high-reaching shows, and it's like, hey, what if we made a show like Dexter? And it's like, you can't. That show's just too good, and then you have like all these shows that you think that you want to make. So what we did was we decided to reach out to some people that are in, the show Dexter and find out like why they do what they do. And it turns out we have one of the best people from Dexter, and they've done cooler things than Dexter.
Yeah.
Dylan, do you want to bring them up pretty please?
Yeah, sure. So without further ado, please welcome actor-producer Ana Tuazon Parsons. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. How are you today?
I'm great.
Excellent. Thank you so much for being here. We really, really appreciate it. Now, obviously, I mentioned Dexter. You played a role in Dexter. And from what we've done research on, we find that you've done some pretty amazing things. You put together a great comedy special. You're a writer on like this unauthorized musical. But before we get started, what are some things that you're the most proud of all of your accomplishments?
Yeah, well, definitely the special, the Asian Americanized immigrant comedy special, because it honors so much of my culture and my family. And it was a really nice way to like write a stand-up set that also really told my story and also told Nikki Andres and Aiden Park's stories as Korean Americans. So it was really special, all of it coming together. And the fact that, I have family all over the world, the Philippines, Australia, Dubai. And they're like, they feel honored. So I feel lucky to have written it, and I'm happy it's out there. So yeah.
Yeah. When we saw a couple things that you've done, it was like, wow, this is impressive. This is impressive. And then we looked into the comedy special. It's like, wow, acting in something, to me, you have to have a talent, obviously, but it's somebody else's work and you do something. Putting together something like a comedy special, especially with trying to highlight traditions or different types of people, that's got to be just difficult. What was the start of that? What made you want to do that?
So it happened in a meditation. That sounds so freaking LA. So I'm sorry if that sounds so like.
I mean, we're in Boulder, so that's perfectly normal for us too.
Yeah. So I was meditating one day, and it just like came to me. I don't know, my titas or my ancestors were in my head, and they were like, "Hey, Aiden's an immigrant, Nikki's an immigrant. You guys are all Asian, like write something, So, and Nikki had just started out doing comedy, and she was just so excellent already. And Aiden, he's very seasoned. So, so it just came that way. And I asked them, and they were gung ho, and then we made it happen.
Yeah. Now, did you do stand-up comedy before deciding to take on such like a big project as this?
Yeah, so I had been doing it for maybe like 5-6 years, balancing that with acting, obviously, and writing and auditioning, whatever. So, so I'd been doing it for a little while.
Oh, that's yeah. So when you look back at your earlier credits, you have something in there that really struck out. And I was curious, and I really couldn't find a lot on this, but you were in a show called Becoming, where you played GWEN Stefani. What was that like?
Can you find it?
I
Said
couldn't.
it's hysterical.
I
It's
would
so
love. I would love to watch it. I couldn't find it.
It is. It's like both embarrassing and awesome at the same time. It's like, oh my God. And then I'm like, oh my God. Yeah. So it was my first summer in New York City. I had just gotten into Circle and Square, affiliated with Tish for musical theater for acting school. And I'd heard about this audition for MTV, and they were like doing the show about becoming, whatever rock star or, rapper or whatever. And so I ditched a day of theater school, and I was like feeling all rebellious and auditioned. And so you basically I had to do like an imitation of her or whatever. And that it was like sort of a competition. So it was me and two other girls, and I was the only Asian. They were already blonde. They bleached my hair in one session at Bumble and Bumble, platinum blonde in one morning, which my hair is black. So it was like steaming, and like the cameras in my face, and I'm like, oh, this is so painful. And then, so we had a couple people that know her that were like the judges for the show. And then we had to do like little things and compete, like sing and dance and like answer questions as her. And then I ended up winning. And then I got to do like a concert as her in the end. So
Okay,
that's great. Did you get to wear her actual suspenders, or did you have to prepare?
No, I mean, MTV had their own wardrobe, so like that I got to pick out all, and I got to be platinum blonde for like a whole summer. I mean, it was like falling out and stuff because of the bleach, but. You know what? I look back though, and I'm like, damn, that is some great acting. Like I look back and I'm like, that's really good acting, Anna. You know what I mean? Like I was like, it was pretty solid. So
yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to watch it.
I think I found it on YouTube.
Oh, excellent. All right, cool. Well, send me the link. Send me the link. I'll definitely play. Now for a lot of the people that listen / watch our show they're mega nerds, and they're into all different types of pop culture. Now you are also Chun-Li.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what's that like, taking on such a role that has like such a specific audience?
It was so much fun. I mean, Sam Reach, who was the showrunner, and he's an incredible creator. He worked for College Humor, and I don't know if he still is, but he brought me on board, and I met like some of the most awesome actors that I'm still friends with. Lev Gorn, who's like just huge now, and Sean Krishnan. Like it was great. I mean, to be honest, I didn't have any preconceived notions, and I didn't really know anything about her or really even the video game before I took it on. So it was exciting. And then I think I felt a little bit of pressure later on, because I was like, oh shit, there's like a lot that goes on behind this whole thing, so yeah, I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, because I mean that I would say out of a Street Fighter, Chun-Li has to be in like the top 3 of all the characters, especially fan base and who.
Oh yeah, we did that so long ago, and I still get fan mail.
Yeah,
oh, cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
I mean, it freaked us out. We're like, oh my god, we're talking to Chun-Li. That's great. Now, of the things that you've written, and produced, most of them are the same thing, which are comedy specials. I guess the unauthorized musical. Can you talk a second about writing a musical and what you were getting into starting that?
Yeah. Sorry, I'm plugging in.
Oh yeah.
I died. So Jeremy Lin the musical, we wrote me, Aiden Park, and Edlin O'Connell. We were just we're actors, and we were like, we need to write something, we need to do something. We all had a passion for musical theater, and at the time, Jeremy was like coming out of the height of his like whole whole thing where he was just like on top of the world. And so what we did was we wrote something that was like, it was like a parody musical. So it was like, we took like old songs and then rewrote the lyrics and made it this, guy that rises to the top. And I mean, some of it I look back now and I'm like, ugh, like it's not, some of it's like not PC, because like we wrote a sketch where like, his fairy godmother comes out and she's like, well, you got to be black to be to be famous or whatever. And like now we're just like, oh my God, did we really like that? But it's funny at the time because we thought, okay, well, and then he's like, I don't need to be, I can just be myself. And that was like the story in the end, that he just rises above no matter what. He gets the girl who always loved him the whole time. And yeah, so it was really, really fun. And what was really cool about it too was that we didn't realize the response we would get, because we were like, oh, we just want to do something. We did it in theater. The profits went to women that have been affected by trafficking. So we wanted to give back to the community, or just give back in some way to a nonprofit. So, and then people were like, this is actually a really great show. You guys should keep doing it. And then we did.
No.
I love that. From the clips I saw of this, big fan of that. Now, as far as the Asian Eye, the American Asian Eye, what's the process of putting that together? Like, now that you were in a pandemic, is that harder to do that? Or was the original idea to maybe go on tour with this?
So we shot it literally a week before the pandemic started. So we shot it, I think, March 7th, and a week later, everything shut down in LA.
Mm-hmm.
So we were like, thank God that we'd gotten it, on film. And, because we had rehearsed it for a year, and we were trying out different mics and working our material and just putting it all together. So we just got, timing wise, really, really lucky. And then during the pandemic was just post-production and sort of putting everything together. And that, always takes a while. So timing wise, it all kind of ended up working out. I mean, I was hoping we would release it sooner, but it's out there now, and that's the important thing. So it's here.
And the reception of that is, do you think that that's good enough, or that's something you're going to try to continue to do? It seems like it's very important for a lot of cultures out there.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're obviously trying to raise visibility of Asian American culture and Asian American comics. I'm not quite sure what the life of the actual show in terms of the three of us together is going to do. We're all each individually, working and doing different things. Aiden's actually doing a musical in Pennsylvania right now. So yeah, I mean, it'll probably just depend on what kind of response we get, because we just released it. So we will see. Some exciting stuff might happen.
Now, between writing and producing and acting, what do you prefer doing the most?
I like it all. I like the money I make acting, for sure. That's fun. A lot of the things I produce have been independently produced, so it's a lot of out of pocket stuff. And writing, I would say I'd lean most towards the writing, and the writing because as a Filipino American, I write a lot of TV specs about the Filipino American experience. So I wrote a pilot that was up for Sundance that was about me being a failed Filipino because I didn't become a nurse. It's called The Asian That Didn't, because I'm a failed Filipino. So so I love writing about these experiences and our culture and who we are. And it's my passion to get us seen and get us out there. So I would say that my heart leans the most towards that. And we're trying to get that stuff made. So
now, acting, which is where we found you first. That seems you're very, very, very good at acting. So congratulations there. I'm terrible at acting. Not that there's a competition here, but I would lose. Now, when working on such a big show like Dexter, what's that like? Because that show, because I think when you hopped into that show, it was in 2010. So the show had been kind of going for a little bit.
Yeah, well, I mean, I had one day on set, so it was a really quick in and out experience. And the scene was with Julia Stiles and Michael C. Hall. I mean, it was awesome. I mean, the crew, it's one of those shows that had been already running, and the crew, it was like a family. Everyone knew each other. I thought, for me, one of the coolest experiences was my part was pretty small. So the fact that Michael C. Hall, he came up to me before our scene and he asked me to give him a moment. He was like, could you just give me, and I was like, you're Michael C. Hall. You could do anything right now. And you're asking me to give you you know what I mean? And he was so just generous and so and just being able to watch him work was just such an honor. He's the best of the best, so yeah.
I mean, from 6 Feet Under to that show, that guy, a stunning actor, and that show is Dexter, especially, is so well put together. Now, what in the future? Do you have some things that you're working on the pipeline? Are you working on more comedy stuff now that, I guess, pandemic's kind of getting bored with the world, I guess?
Yeah, I'm getting back out on stage. The pandemic was super weird because of the comedy scene. People ended up doing a lot of Zoom comedy and stuff, and I wasn't super into I personally wasn't into it. It didn't feel like it was I don't know, just weird doing stand up on and like you doing YouTube or something like that. So yeah, I'm definitely getting back on stage. And production's picked up. So like we're now back in person. I was just a COVID backup for I do a lot of commercials too. For a pharma spot, which was really funny because apparently, I don't know if you know this, but pharma pays like really nicely for pharma and like chocolate commercials. This is so random. But yeah, it's been nice because it's feeling like everything is back, getting back on board. And so I'm still writing and auditioning and we just got the special out there. So we're doing a lot of press for that.
I love that. I'm a stand-up comedian myself. I came from Philadelphia, so when I came out here, I was like trying to find a place to start doing stand-up in Colorado, and then that's when like the pandemic hit, and then we had to shift everything over to like YouTube or an audio medium because we really had to swerve hard. Now let's just say that you get like a blank check from like a production company. What's something that you would like to spend just a lot of time on for yourself?
I would probably, I think that I would probably fund one of my pilots. The last thing that I wrote is called All American Aquinos. It's basically one day at a time with a Filipino family. So, and I love multicam. It's a multicam show. So I would probably produce that. And my background's like also in theater, and I love sound stages and I love those kind of things. So that is the thing that I'm most excited about. So that's probably that and like a vacation.
Yeah. Have you thought at all about like directing, like getting behind the camera? It seems like it's one of the few things you haven't tried to do yet.
Wow. Yeah. I have. I directed. I've directed some theater. I have not. I mean, like some of the projects that I've produced, we've been like co-directed with the cast, kind of thing. But yeah, I'd definitely be interested in exploring that. It's not top of my list, but I would. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Another question I had for you, because you're such a talented actor, and the way it seems that a lot of like Hollywood's going, you're either in a mega big budget, Marvel blockbuster, or like a really solid streaming show, like a brand new HBO series. If you had to be like in a big blockbuster movie, like as a star, like would you like to do that kind of thing? Like, would you like to be in the MCU? Is that something actors try to get to?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure people that are really into the MCU definitely. Like, I know I have writers that like totally geek out, like writer friends that write on shows, and they geek out on that stuff. I am not particularly a person that's like, I would love to play or like, I think it's just because I'm not so super knowledgeable in that genre. But yeah, I mean, who doesn't want to be a superhero?
Yeah.
Like,
I really don't. Like I don't need that. I have a hard time getting out of bed. I don't need people looking at me being, please save me. That'd be too hard for me. I mean, that's super interesting. What's some things that you consume when you're on like your downtime? Do you watch like a lot of TV or something?
Yeah, I mean, I have to watch a lot of TV for work. We didn't watch this last night, but I watched the trailer for it. Have you guys seen the trailer for Julia? It's the new show on HBO.
Oh, about Julia Child,
yes.
Yeah.
Julia Child, yeah. Mm-hmm. But like, I didn't realize she was. I mean, obviously she was a badass because she was like, first of her time. But like the show, it's about how she's like kicking ass and taking names like with these men who are like, don't do this, and she's like, oh, I'm going to do it. You know what I mean? Like. Mm-hmm. Anyways, I'm excited to watch that. I haven't done it yet, but I'm excited to watch that. Yeah.
So you love some TV fan.
I do love TV, yeah.
That's awesome. Dylan does not like TV. He says that he's not going to watch any more TV till he sells a script. So he's probably never. Yeah, he's never going to do that. Dylan, do you have any questions for Miss Parsons?
Well, you brought up writing scripts. I was curious if you have a particular process that you get into when you're working on anything, as far as like either outlining or if you have to put yourself in a certain mindset, or if you are one of those people who get like a sudden burst of inspiration, keep a notebook by the shower or something like that.
Yeah, well, as a stand-up, I get bits and pieces of inspiration all the time. So I actually just have like an email folder. That's so but I have an email folder. I email myself jokes. And I'm like, let's look at this folder later on. We can, expand on that and work on that. Writing wise, like in terms of like TV writing, I definitely have to sit down. It's almost like it's kind of like when you have like rehearsal as an actor and you're just like, oh, I don't want to rehearse, but you know you have to kind of thing. There's always that kind of like, and then you get in front of the computer, your pen and pad or whatever, you sit down, and once you sit down, you're like in it. So, but I definitely have to schedule the time. And that's not that it just feels like a job or anything, but you just have to sit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally understand. I have to make myself think it's a job when I was writing jokes before, or else I just wouldn't do it because I'm like, oh, I'll think of a joke later. It's no big deal. And I agree about emailing yourself because you have that one joke and you're like, this is a clever joke. I'm gonna remember this forever. And literally 45 seconds later, you're like, I think there was a dog. There was a dog.
An anteater and a toaster or something.
Yeah, like, that sounds stupid. The only problem I have with emailing myself jokes is I would wake up in the morning, the next morning, and have an email for myself. I'm like, okay, Zach, that's not good at all. You're not funny whatsoever. Don't email yourself anymore. All right, I don't have any more questions. I'm so excited to talk to you, but also to get into the creation process. Dylan, do you have any more questions?
No, I think I covered my
because
part.
I have a stunning pitch that I would love it if Anna would be in this movie after we start writing it and making it. So I'm just excited to get to the pitch.
Sure.
Do I get to go first? I lost last time.
Yeah, go for it.
All right, fair. Okay. So obviously what we do in this part of the show is we're going to give you 2 original pitches. We would just like you, preferably, to just choose one that you think is worth a little bit more of your time while we keep moving on to asking questions about random things that only I care about. Okay, so the pitch that I'm going to throw at you, and I think this is kind of more of a premise than a pitch, but I'm getting there. But it's around, I guess, like it's. Is that your stomach, Dylan?
I think it was I'm going to blame the cat.
Oh my goodness, dude! You need to eat before we do these shows. Okay, so the idea I have, it's kind of like a sci-fi thriller that's based around love and human resources, and the idea is that it is a nuclear-powered submarine. It's the first of its kind, and on its voyage, like its first sailing out or whatever subs do, they sink or whatever. On their first time sinking, eventually the sub disappears. No one knows what happened to it. They don't know if it was blown up for like a war, if it was stolen. Nobody knows. Now, the captain of the ship happens to be the partner of the person that's the head of HR for this company. Granted, it's probably an HR faux pas, but we're not going to get into that just yet. Now, the HR person does not want this company to go under, so they do everything they can possibly do to help solve this mystery. And they even go to the last known spot this ship was there. When they get there, they find that the submarine has actually shrunk. And it's super small. And everybody inside of it is super small. And that's why nobody could figure out where this thing went. I don't know what happens to it, but that's my premise pitch for this episode that is going to win. Do
you want to give the tagline?
I forget. It was
the only difference between sunk and shrunk is HR.
That's it. Yep. The only thing between sunk and shrunk is HR. The tagline sells it, I think.
Sure.
All right, Dylan.
All right. So this was kind of generated from a friend who had read some sort of like gossip column thing. The main character is a relationship coach who works on movie sets to prevent the male and female leads from falling in love with each other. That her entire job is to prevent, they're emotionally charged. It's like Star is Born style. So her job is to keep them from carrying that relationship over into the real world. Her job is complicated when she becomes one point of a love triangle between her 2 clients and herself. And I'm thinking like kind of farcical high comedy sort of thing. Maybe there's like an organized crime angle that gets worked in there that she gets unwillingly involved in. This was far more coherent when I had it mentally arranged, but that's kind of the overall premise for this movie.
So you're trying to bring back the rom-com.
Yeah, it's a rom-com style. Probably some dark comedy in there, but yeah, it would be rom-com. It would be very very tongue-in-cheek about the film industry.
Okay. Okay. Well, Ms. Parsons, now is the most difficult question anyone has ever asked you. which one of these two very stupid ideas would you like to talk about for a couple more minutes?
Wait, do I have to pick one or well, the only reason I picked Dylan's is because I just don't know anything about it. Like you gave me more of an outline that was like lengthy and like yeah.
Lengthy.
Explain-
Literally, it's one of my favorite adjectives.
Lengthy.
Jack Wiseman.
Long-winded.
He's pretty lengthy. If he starts talking, it's lengthy. Okay, Dylan. So you won again. You're gonna
Sure.
Okay, weird.
It's only because like he didn't really give anything. I'm like, what else happens? Like, I want to know more.
There
So
we
maybe
go.
for next time, you just give like nothing, and then the person will
See. I'm over pitching my idea.
Tiny submarine.
Yeah.
That's it.
Mini. Yeah. Mini sub. Like mini sub. Okay, great. So we're gonna start pitching you a lot more ideas since you just take everything. That's great. Okay, I'm just kidding. Okay, so we're gonna spend the next couple minutes trying to figure out how one would work on this idea and what you do. Now, Anna, when you have an idea and it's very vague and probably not that good, and you email it to yourself, when you finally open up that email, what are some things you do? Are you like do you believe in like the 3-act structure of something? Do you spend time trying to figure out if it's a musical or a comedy show, or if this is like a feature or a short? Like, what's like your first kind of steps of, all right, I'm going to spend some time with this thing?
It's interesting because I feel like my process is constantly evolving. I don't feel like there's ever one way. I think it just depends on definitely depends on the genre. If you're writing, this is obviously a feature, or if I'm writing a play, or if I'm writing, that kind of thing. But I would probably start with what you gave me was the log line, and then I would outline, and then I would because I think the real creativity and the thing that I have to work on the most is the rewrites, because I feel like usually my first draft, I always feel is like, this is the best, and it's never the best, So like sending out too early, or like I've totally been, accused of that, where I'm just like, oh God, why did I do that? Why did I send out? So I'd start with an outline.
Excellent. Okay, so we're going to start work on an outline for this thing, and like you have an idea, and let's just say that it's something dumb, like a movie set Hitch, right? Now, when do you decide what that's going to be? Like, because so far it could be a short, it could be a play, it could be a feature length. I don't think it feels like a series just yet, but do you kind of let like the project itself like speak to it, or do you go designing like, okay, I got to make this a play, so I have to look at it through that lens?
I design right away.
Okay, so this feels like probably a feature, right? This feels probably like a TLC feature thing that maybe if Sandy Bullock gets into it, we can get a little bit more. Okay, excellent. All right. So now, are you a believer in the 3-act structure? We talked to a lot of people, and some people are, save the cat people, and some people are definitely 3-act structures or whatever. Is there something that you are stuck on as far as the story technique?
I feel like that's also evolving as well, and I think because I don't know if you guys have ever applied for any of these like programs that they have out there. I feel like the stuff that they ask for is constantly changing too, because streamer is like changing, because like format's changing. So I feel like structure does help me, but I'm also open. So I feel like I'm both.
Yeah. You just let it roll. That's fine. Yeah, because we do talk to some people to go, nope, I do it exactly like this. I put my bullet points down, then I work on my 3 arcs. And then some people are like, at minute 10, this inciting incident. At minute 12, I need this. And it's like, okay, well, that's pretty interesting. So it's always cool to see, how people do it. Because I used to just let the story kind of do its stuff. And then when I need to punch it up, I got to make sure I go in there. All right, so let's say that this is going to be a feature length. Let's say that we're going to start plotting this out. Now, do you work on like the characters first, or do you try to get the plot moving to understand where you're trying to get?
Story.
Yeah. All right, cool. So let's just say this is a 3-act structure, Dylan, right?
Yeah.
What kind of story do you want to see coming here? So we have like, we're on a film set. We have this person who has a job. We're probably going to meet them in the middle of the filming, right? Because there's been some kind of tension. That seems to make sense. Now, the first arc of this is what, them falling in love with somebody or realizing that they're in love with somebody.
Well, yeah, or somehow introducing some complication into their like otherwise professional life. Like, I mean, hell, they could be brought on like as emergency consultant on a production where their ex is the lead.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
I almost like the idea of maybe like a film that was being made with a married couple, and in the middle of the movie, the couple gets divorced. So then they have almost like a therapist in there being like, "Hey, you guys gotta make sure you remain like you're married." Is that something you would be interested in considering here?
Yeah, sure, we could consider that.
All right, now, Miss Parsons, if this was like a film and we had to put a person in there that's designed to keep relationships, what type of film do you think they're making?
I just want to interject about that the married couple. I was in a nail salon the other day, and this woman, because I don't really watch reality TV, but she mentioned there's a new show on Netflix. It's called like The Ultimatum or something like that. Have you heard of it?
Oh yeah.
Nope.
I haven't watched it, but yeah. So it just, anyways, reminded me of that. Zach, you got to Dylan. Have you seen it? Have you seen it, Zach?
Oh, I have. It stars Nick Lachey. I have consumed that garbage television show. It's awful, but I love it.
It's like basically they sign up to get a pass. It's like these couples sign up to get a pass.
Yeah,
for like 8 weeks or something like.
Yeah, it's like, look, I'll marry you, but I get to do this. And it's like, ugh, fine.
But I was like thinking to myself, I was like, how did that one person pitch this to their partner? They're just like, honey,
they just want to be on TV.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I guess.
It's like people. What was that show, Zach, that you made me watch about the island where they weren't allowed to like get romantic? Too Hot to Handle.
Too Hot to Handle. Yeah. If they touch each other, they lost money.
Unbelievable. I know you watched the entire thing. I watched that first episode, and I'm like,
yeah.
This dude from Denver looks like half of the people I work with. I can't do this.
It's like they can win $100,000, but if they kiss, they lose $5,000, and if they like do more stuff, they lose a lot more money. And one guy's like, I don't care. I spend $60,000 to hook up with this.
It was.
Give me an ultimatum.
Anything goes on Netflix.
All right, so we have this movie that we're working on. Do you think, Anna? Do you think it's funnier if it's like an action movie or a romance movie or like do you think that thing matters at all?
Wait, does what matter? Genre?
The fake movie that they're working on that they would need the relationship coach in.
Oh, wait. So I have to pick a genre. What would be funnier?
Well.
Go ahead, Dylan.
I'm kind of seeing this as like a Burn After Reading style, like over the top. Everybody is kind of selfish and
like the actors in the movie.
Like the movie itself is very not over the top, but everybody has really bad impulse control, but really high ambition. So everybody's like, we're making like a steamy thriller, but you two can't fall in love because you're professionals, and they're like, okay, and then the coach is brought on, and everybody is just kind of going for their own motives. And at the halfway point, you learn that someone has a lot of money in like some sort of illegal drug ring.
So they're making Basic Instinct 3.
Advanced Instinct.
Not so basic anymore. Okay, so the first, let's plot out what your structure is real fast, Dylan. So we have a 3-act structure. Now, at the end of the first act, you have the therapist person coming in, and then either being told they're in love with, or that they're in love with somebody, right?
Yeah. I see maybe like they're called on as an emergency consultant. Like they're like, we've got an issue where our two leads are very high profile socialites with other significant others, but we've noticed on set they're starting to act around each other.
Yeah. So
they bring the main character in to kind of like coach them on not falling in love. Now, and they have that moment where like the song, they see the person approaching across the lot and the music comes on and they're like, I can't let these two get together because I want that, or something like that.
Or do they have a previous relationship with one of the two people before?
That I also had that thought as a potential option.
Okay, so then the middle part, the second act of this would be dealing with the frustrations and the feelings, and then what is the end of the second act?
Oh man, I think we need to keep I think we need to figure out a little bit more of the second act first.
Now, Anna, when you have like an idea and you're trying to like workshop it, do you have like a person that you throw ideas at, and then they say, "Hey, Zach, that's not a very good idea. You should change it to this."
Yeah. I mean, I throw ideas like at my husband. I don't necessarily take his advice on the ideas, but I definitely pitch him, and especially like jokes and stuff like that. But no, I mean, in terms of ideas and things I want to spend money or time on, I usually will just like commit to something that I like, and I'll just do it.
Yeah, I love that. All right, Dylan. So what do you think is the most important thing to work on next here?
I mean, I think kind of just that happens, then that happens because that happens. Like try to get kind of like a through line of events going.
Maybe let's like fake cast this so we have an idea of who these actors are.
Yeah.
So we, like who would you like to see as this main therapist person?
Man, I mean, who's kind of on the come up right now? Like Florence Pugh. Is that too much? Yeah, Florence. Let's get her. Or trying to think of.
Well, yeah, let's just stick with that because
that came to mind.
they've got a really cool acting style. They've got a really good intensity, and they're still fresh enough where they could pull off comedy if they have to, but also seriousness. Now, who are the two people that they're going to be in a love triangle with?
Let's say Dev Patel and someone else of an age. That's what I'm trying to think of, like
Sybil Shepherd.
Sure.
I like Dev.
Random. This is so random. Like,
yeah. Welcome to the show. It's Dylan trying to be smart and be thrown
purely hypothetical.
Yeah.
Sybil Shepherd.
Sure.
Patel. No, yeah, let's do it. Yeah,
I love that. Yeah, and I mean, why wouldn't Florence Pugh go for Sybil Shepherd? You know, if someone can have gravitas, it's Sybil Shepherd. She's like okay, so now we have roughly this cast, and we know that Sybil Shepherd and Dev Patel are making this intense Basic Instinct style thriller, and then things are going very weird. They have to call in this relationship therapist who is Florence Pugh, and then they come down, and that's the end of the first act, right?
Yeah.
The movie's breaking down. Producer's gonna quit. There's rewriting happening because the actors cannot be together. Dev Patel is being a real B word. I love that man. I hope I meet him someday. He is such a great actor.
I just watched. Wait,
send him an email.
Yeah.
Was Dev Patel in the Green? Is it called the Green Knight or that?
Yeah, that's him.
I was like, "What is this movie?"
It's a trip.
Good.
Yeah, the movie's wild. He is beautiful in it though. But yeah, that movie, like you watch it, like, is he gonna lose his head?
What's going on?
It's a game. Cool. All right, I get it. Like, ew, is that his mom? What is this? Okay, so now I would assume that in the second act of this, the movie production is going to speed up, right? It's going to get really good. They're going to start having really good chemistry together. Now, what are some things you need to put in here to make that, start crashing down by the end of the second act?
I think there needs to be another external conflict, and I keep going back to some sort of like illicit money being involved.
Yeah.
Or using the film set as a location for something.
Now, Anna, when you're writing out, your stories, do you have that timing down where you're like, right around here, I need something either like big or impactful or emotional? Do you ever like have that timing down, or do you just once again go back through the story and just let it kind of hit you and go, this is kind of a lull, I need to do something here?
Well, yeah, in the sense of like in terms of structure, and I've really primarily only written television specs, so for sure I stick to the structure in that, yeah, so something needs to happen here. Often I'll kind of fuck it up. Like sometimes I just won't even have it, and then I'll go through a rewrite, have somebody give me notes, and just like constantly rewrite the things that I'm missing. Because I feel like for me, it's more just like barfing it out and then like getting an opinion and then like making it nicer.
See, that brings up an interesting conversation. It's about writing like for television instead of a movie. When you write like a movie, you have, here's my story. I'm going to get to it. 90 minutes. It's a tight thing. When you write for a series, how do you know like what you're going for? Because series can be anything. I mean, you have like sitcoms that are 22 episodes. You have Netflix specials that can be 6 episodes. What now? I love the idea of spending more time with these characters, which is, I guess the good thing that the pandemic brought was streaming, making, elongated storytelling. But setting out to make a show, what do you set yourself any guidelines for length?
Yes, and in the sense that I generally decide in the beginning what I'm writing. Like, I knew Aquino's was a multicam, so I was like, I'm writing a sitcom. And I've primarily only written 30-minute. I tend to write really kind of dark comedies, like yeah. So yes, I decide pretty much right away.
Yeah. So it like, so going into something like, okay, this is going to be a 6-episode series. Right. Is that what you're saying? And like, you know where like the arcs are and that kind of thing?
Oh, I mean, no, I don't often write out my whole series Bible unless somebody's asking for it. But I mean, when does that happen? Unless you're submitting to Sundance or something. But no, because I feel like that's generally kind of a waste of time.
Yeah.
I feel like for me, it's mostly just getting that one piece really, really, really polished and solid.
So you primarily kind of build like a pilot then, and like say, okay, then depending on what people need, I turn this into that. Is that kind of how that goes?
What do you mean?
So like if you have a pilot for a show, and I guess you start pitching this pilot out, and it's really well sculpted, and if you pitch it to different people, I would assume that they're going to want different things. Because if it were a sitcom, you might get a 20 episode contract. I don't know how a lot of this works, obviously, but if you were to go to say like an HBO Max where they rely on like 6 episodes, do you get to decide the duration of this, or do they tell you how much of the show they want?
No, I mean, I feel like what happens is you pitch a show, you get a green lit, you get the pilot made, and then you shoot it, they air it, people respond, they're going to make more episodes. I mean, sometimes I think they'll decide beforehand if they're going to continue. Like I just auditioned for Joe Coy's series Joseph. It's besides the cleaning lady, it's the only network script that I've read, and I've been in the business a long time, that has a protagonist. It's a Filipino American and a Filipino American family. And as far as I know, I don't know if anything's been greenlit, but I know they shot the pilot. So, and like every Filipino auditioned for it. We were just like a Filipino party. Yeah, so that's how it works, and hopefully it gets picked up, because it'd be nice to have more work for us.
Yeah. So you don't really have an idea of how long the show you're pitching is going to be, right? Is that right?
No, I don't.
Wow.
No.
Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't know that. I thought like you had an idea for like a not you, obviously, undetermined you have an idea for like a show, like I'm selling this 10-episode thing, but it's pretty much like you sell the concept and then they take what they ask. I guess they ask you to do whatever they want, right?
Yeah, I think with Joseph, they have an amount of episodes that they've already pre-planned. But for me, I just haven't done enough work on that. I've done the series Bible for the Asian that didn't, but the other stuff I've just been lazy.
Yeah. No, that's fine. Okay, so we're working on this thing now. Are you someone that works on like bullet points? I know Dylan is an advocate for bullet points. It's like we got to get to here and then to here and then to here and then to here. Or do you try to get like the idea of the full story out before start filling it with dumb stuff?
Bullet points, because I feel like it's generally easy to write. Like a friend of mine was writing on Atypical, and she's my best friend actually. And the showrunner for that show she'd say like 2 months on outlining. Like there was nothing that happened in terms of any writing happening until like they nailed the outline down. So I feel like because I can spend a lot of time, or I can just not waste time, but if the outline or the bullet points aren't spot on, then you're kind of wasting time in the writing. You know what I mean? If you don't like nail that part, the structure part.
I love Atypical. It is the only show that me and my partner and my daughter sit down and watch all together. We all have different interests, but that is one of those few shows that it kind of aligns all of our interests in just a beautiful put together show. It's cool. Tell your friend I appreciate that because I love that. Okay, Dylan, what do you think we should work on? We have a couple minutes left in this.
I think the ending, having the ending kind of some idea of where it winds up.
One of the things I was thinking was whoever of the two main actors likes the therapist more, maybe they try to work them into the movie. Like they try to get them apart. That seems like a really stupid thing to get in there.
Yeah.
Anna, what would you say is one of your favorite black? You said you're into dark comedies or black comedies. What's one of your favorites?
Like TV shows?
Yeah.
Barry popped into my head right now. Yeah. I love Barry. I like Barry.
Yeah. I love Barry.
It's back a week from today.
Yeah, we had the opportunity to I guess this is kind of could have been a black comedy, a dark comedy. We had the opportunity to speak to Jack Barth, the guy who created Yesterday, that movie where if the Beatles never existed. Now it turns out the original story that he wrote is much darker and very funny. Yeah, where he wrote it, it was like because he said that idea behind it was that even if he were the person who created the Beatles, he still couldn't sell it. Like he wrote all these amazing things. So the idea was this person had the entire library of the Beatles catalog and nobody liked it. He still just could not do it no matter how great it was. And, then obviously like the story got bought and changed up to being a rom-com and this guy was successful. But I would have loved to seen the original because I think it's a way more compelling story. Because you have these, rock music from the 60s. Why it wouldn't be that popular now? Like, why would people like that now? I just thought that was cool. And Barry's a great show. Yeah. I mean, I'm a fan of like really like thoughtful comedies, and I think Barry is one of those as well. All right, so Dylan, I think that we have a little bit too much to work on in this project.
It's a very sparse. It's more a premise than a plot. For now,
so I think we got to put this on the back, not the back burner, but we got to put the kibosh on this one for a second, because I think we need too much in this one. So what we're going to do is we're going to pause that right here, and we're going to pick this up on we have a live show on Tuesdays where we take these concepts with a live audience from Twitch and keep delving into it, but we don't want to take up any more of your time. So I just think we have too much of this project to really keep going with asking questions, because now it's like, hey, make this cooler, make this better for us, and that's not what we're trying to do. So now listen, we love you. We are mega fans of yours. Now that we know you, we are even bigger fans. And I'm going to spend the rest of my day literally watching every single thing of yours that I can find.
Wait, but I do want to send you the clip of Becoming, because it's
so absolutely funny.
And also like, man, the one thing I learned was like these, that singers are like, they have the back, singing or whatever, like my voice was like terrible. I was like not hitting notes because I was like running around the stage, like jumping and kicking and like flying my hair, like head banging, like I couldn't sing. Anyway, so I just discovered it's really hard to headbang and sing at the same time.
Now, what was Gwen Stefani's story that you were telling? Was it falling in love with that guitarist guy and then losing it in the second video?
No, I mean, we were just competing to be the best Gwen. So,
okay.
And then I won, and I got to do a full concert as her, and so it was basically that.
Did you meet her?
No, but it's funny. One of my friends is Tony Kanal's cousin, so I think he sent it to Tony. It was just really funny. Anyways, he's like, "This is hysterical. She's Asian."
Oh, I cannot wait to watch that. I'm going to force Dylan to watch everything for the rest of the day.
I have the video in another tab. It's on YouTube.
We're going to get to it soon. We're going to get to it soon. Ms. Parsons, where can people find your comedy show? I would love to make as many people as possible go check this out. Where can people find this?
Yeah, so it's on the Real Women's Network, REEL Women's Network, and under Asian Americanized and Immigrant Comedy Special.
I love it. So if you're watching this or listening to this, we're going to put the link to that in the show notes. Please check this out. Ms. Parsons is so funny and very, very talented, and also a waitress in Dexter. But I love that. You are a stunning Chun-Li, and you're a great person for being on our show. Because honestly, like, we're trying hard to make things. We're trying hard to write stuff or to get stuff. So any tiny bit of time that anybody who's doing it spends with us, it's just this cool fuel that we never knew we could have, and it really just makes us go. And then we talk about you for like a week, and then we're fanboying all over things, and it's really yeah. So I would really like to just let you know how much just this little bit of time that you're spending with us means to us. So thank you. Yep, and we're gonna put as many links to your stuff in the show notes as possible. So please, everyone, go find Miss Parsons and laugh a lot, because why not? Like, why not? There's too many stupid people out there. Laugh at somebody. Is there anything else you would like people to know about you or to find, or anything?
I guess Instagram, Ana Tuazon Parsons, Twitter, Ana Tuazon, same thing. Just my name. Just
Cool.
Google. Google's always great, right?
Yeah.
It's there for a reason.
Use the Googles.
Use the Google.
But you gotta say it quietly, because there's too many things in my house that respond to that word now. I'm like watching TV and I have like 3 different machines going, I can't understand that. Stop. Okay, so we'll put your links to Instagram and Twitter down there as well. And once again, we do definitely appreciate all of your time. Yeah, keep on creating.
So much fun.
Fun. Thank you. Keep creating, and we're gonna watch all of your stuff today. Dylan, do you have any funny words for anybody still watching or listening to this?
Nah.
Awesome. I appreciate that. Okay, folks. Well, until next time, I have been Zach. They've been Anna. He's been Dylan. But you've been great. Have a great day, everybody. Bye.
Take it easy out there.